queen, rook takes, and now c6. What is going to happen here? What is black doing? Rook d8. We're going to take that rook as well with knight f7, and knight takes d8. So it's just horrible to play here. Lose the other rook. So knight e6 played, and of course white takes on d7, knight g5, and rook e7. And they played a few more moves, rook c7, and here black resigned. He was convinced by Lasker's superiority, and now I want to show you this game, which is very, very nice, also against Steinitz. This is a double-edged game where things went very well for black for a while, and then Lasker fought back, which is what I liked very much about this game. So here he plays the Ruy Lopez, and Steinitz plays the Steinitz variation of the Ruy Lopez. What a surprise. d4, bishop d7, here bishop e3, queen d2, white is getting ready to castle long, bishop e7, long castle, a6, and here he plays bishop e2. This bishop e2 is also a very good move because bishop c6, for example, should also be possible. It can be played, but keeping the bishop makes more sense, because here bishop c6, probably g4 makes sense, but I think that black in this position doesn't have to castle anymore. Maybe he can try something like b5, b4, and the position remains complicated. But here I feel like, no, in a position like this, black should be okay. So let me show you how the game goes, because the interesting part comes a little later. Bishop e2, pawn takes d4, takes, queen d4, queen d2, bishop c6, and now knight d5, improving the pieces, castle, and this is, I think, the first important moment of this game, because this is obviously going to be probably going to be a race, right? Opposite castles, and we have to start throwing the pawns. So how do we start here with white? That's a good question. How do we start the attack? I think there are a few possibilities, but which one? Which one is it going to be? Also, I should say that white is probably going to be faster in this race, because black has a couple of pieces there in front of the king, so our pawns are going to come with tempo. But on the other hand, when black pushes the pawns, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to move the pieces. So we have two options here: takes on f6, play h4, and they are both options here. And I think knight f6 is actually the second best move. You could take the bishop, but I think you shouldn't hurry to do so. You can take the bishop almost anytime you want, but h4 looks very strong, right? Because how do you want to attack here? This is how you want to attack: h4, h5. When there's a knight on g6, this is almost this almost comes at h4, h5 is a typical way of attacking when there's a piece on g6. That's how you want to open the position, and then g4, g5 as well is going to happen. But the problem is that on h4, black can take. So this is probably a good question. What happens here after bishop h4? And the answer is that usually we should not be worried about losing a pawn on the h file, because in that case the rook will open and we're going to have a good attack here on the h file. So this is again a typical pattern in the attack. You play h4, you give up this pawn, but you have the h file open. And here it's really quite easy for white. Easy in the sense that our pieces are coming very fast. So here, for example, I think f4 looks like a natural move. And basically we want to play f5, kick the knight out of there, and then bring the pieces to the h file. So our attack is coming very fast. For example, b5, I mean, It's not the only move, but I'm just trying to make something work for black on the queen side. And here f5, knight e5, and it's all very, very natural here. So rook h3 is also a natural move. I want to play rook h1, and I bet black wished white had a pawn on the h file here. So this is almost winning for white. So I tried here h6, but of course h6 doesn't work. I'll show you some nice lines after h6. I don't know what else black can try, to be honest. Rook h1 and rook h7 are coming next. So here, rook h1, and what if bishop f6, for example? How would you win the game here? Again, you probably have a lot of ways to win the game. But how would you win the game? Important to find the way. What do we do? Any ideas in this position? I bet there's a move that everybody is thinking here. Just throw the pieces. Just sacrifice on h6 should be winning. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. The bishop h6 is the first move that comes to mind, and I'm pretty sure that it's winning. But that needs to be calculated. There is one line that you don't even have to calculate here. You're just winning a piece at once. Bishop h6, well, maybe it's not so much to calculate, because on pawn takes, okay, I shouldn't take with a queen. So here, this is I think this is the way to lose the game. So don't do that. But if you take with a rook, I think after rook h8, it's almost made. Or knight f6 is coming. Everything is coming here. How does black stop everything? But here, knight f6 simply wins a piece, because if queen takes, there's bishop g5. Yeah, that's just very, very straightforward. I think the most direct win. Yeah, there's bishop g5 if you take with a queen. But wait, when? After rook h6? Hold on a second. So here takes, no, because I think rook h6, bishop here, bishop g5, but I thought we have rook h8. So here, no, this is mate, I guess. Yeah, this is mate. Here there's no bishop g5 anymore, only if you take with a queen. But I guess even here you can improve, because there's another check here on g3 that I didn't consider. So this should be winning. But this was very nice also. Takes on f6. So this is also the reason why bishop g5 here, which was a move that I thought black might want to try, doesn't work. Because here is just winning the piece, and then it's rook h8 mate. So after castles, here h4 is the way to start the attack, basically, because this is where we're going to attack. Where is this knight going? This is our main target. Whenever the knight moves, we're just going to keep throwing the pieces. But he starts with g4. And things get complicated now. This is a fun game. Rook e8. And now g5 is very tempting, right? That's why you play g4. g5 comes with tempo. But here white should play perhaps f3, defend e4, or maybe again try h4. And sacrifice this pawn and try something like this. This can also be played, and I think white should have the initiative here. It feels like black's pieces are a little misplaced, but g5, the game gets interesting. So here I'm just going to flip the board and let's try to find black's move in this position. How does black play here? Because you have to be very precise. You just can't just do anything. If bishop e5, white's idea is probably to play h4 and maybe even f4, right? If not immediately, f4 is coming. So how do we fight back with black? Well, we have to play. Not an easy position for black. Not an easy position at all. White's pawn storm looks very scary. But there is something we can try. Not only try, but black gets a very good position after that. What do you think? Or do we just resign here with black? Maybe just give up. Okay, so should I give you the first move? Defense isn't cool. We have to learn how to defend, don't we? I'm actually surprised that all the defensive resources that Steinitz found here. It's such a complicated position, and they played so well here. Also a lot of tactics in the air that, well, you might not be aware of, but once you see them, and I saw them, now I cannot unsee them. I already saw them. So here, the first move, we have to take this guy here on d5. Yeah, so bishop e5 is natural, no? But I think on bishop e5, white's idea is that he will just eventually play f4. I think f4 right away might not work because of the same bishop takes d5, right? I think f4 doesn't work immediately because bishop d5 and I'm losing the pawn, so that's something that I don't like. But bishop e5 will be in the way of f4. So I think here, I don't know, what if white just plays again h4? How is this going to be? Isn't h5 going to happen and I'm going to be really scared of those pawns? So I'm not getting mated right away, but I don't know what happens after g6 is played. I would be very scared of getting mated here with black. So of course bishop e5 can be played, but it looks scary. So here after bishop d5 there is one very, very nice idea. So this was not played in the game, but what happens if white takes with the e pawn? That is the question. What do we play here with black? Oops. Can you find a move to get, well, to actually get advantage here? Yeah, it's not about only defending anymore. Bishop e5, bishop e5. Okay, so let's see again bishop e5. So bishop e5, again, I don't have f4 because as in the previous position where I actually didn't show this, but here there's bishop f4, knight f4, and the bishop on e2 is hanging. So bishop takes, knight takes, queen takes, and here the other bishop is hanging. I don't have f4, which is the move that I really want to play, but I will. I just shouldn't play it right away. If bishop e5, I should play maybe bishop d3 first. So I'm just getting my bishop out of e2, and then I'm going to play f4. And again, it looks really, really scary. I don't know where the bishop from e5 is going. Is it going anywhere? I think it's going off the board immediately. I don't think it's staying on the board. And the attack keeps going. So that's why the bishop on e5 is not exactly a very happy piece. Keep looking for options. There's a tactical idea here. Is nobody spotting this? Maybe now that I gave you a hint, I'm going to see the right move. Rook takes e3, you mean, right? Rook takes e3. Yeah, there's something on the diagonal there. Rook e3. This is the move. Very, very strong move. So obviously if queen takes, we have bishop g5 and we can go home. We've won the game with black. I think that's quite clear. But pawn takes is the question. So here bishop takes g5. And this position is not easy at all for white. So here queen e7 is probably the next move, right? And for example, if I play something like bishop d3, queen e7, the square e5 is also very tempting for my knight. So rook e1, maybe knight e5 with very good compensation. Of course, there's a threat of knight f3 here. But other moves like maybe c5 is coming, b5. Also knight h4. Oh yes, knight h4. I don't know if h4, because on h4, whereas my knight is a little stronger on e5, no, than on h4. I think white will defend against the threat. But yes, this is a lot of compensation. And okay, I also tried here king b1, just trying to get out of the diagonal, and again queen e7 is very annoying. So okay, here I'm losing the pawn on e3, and it's what, already 2 pawns for the exchange. And a position like this, let's say bishop takes with the idea of rook e7, but here just rook c8, and the rook is not staying for long on e7. King f8 is coming, and bishop e5 is also trapping the rook over there. So I think if anybody's trying to win, this is black, right? Really not very clear how white can create things here. So rook e3 is the idea. And what about rook f1, rook f1, rook f1 after rook c8? Here, rook f1. Oh, because you're saying that f7 is hanging, but I can still play rook f8, no? King f8, I mean. And rook d7, here I have king e8. King e8, but maybe king e8 doesn't work, no? King e8 takes on f7 and take here. So king e8 is not my move, I have to play g5 then. And then I'm playing king e8. Now king e8 is a threat, really. h4. And if I play king e8 now, what if I play king e8 now? Take here, and I take here, and take here. I'm still going to have an extra pawn. Which, well, I still have to win this endgame, but it's an extra pawn. Rook f7 first. Okay. Wait, so here after king e8, rook f7 first. Nice, king f7, and now you want to take here. And now. There must be something here, right? Well, king g6, I'm taking g5, I guess. And how is the pawn endgame? If I trade rooks, king c1, king f7, tack, tack. I'm winning the pawn endgame, right? If I get to trade rooks? Maybe, yes, king g8 should win. Rook f8 first. Okay, rook f8 first is nice. I was thinking, yeah, of getting rook f8, so move my king and getting rook f8. But I guess I can also play this. And I get to the same position, and this is what I was trying to see. This pawn endgame is winning. Yeah, I'm getting to g5. Clearly winning. And rook e8, I think rook e8 doesn't work, because on rook e8, this is actually coming with check. Well, it doesn't work. It works, but probably have to go king g6 now, and here king c1 makes sense. And okay, on king g5, rook f7, rook f7 to get some counterplay, but I'm thinking maybe even rook e5 here. Yeah, rook e5, right? Maybe like this. Rook f8 also uses the back rank, and the thing is that here white has to trade rooks because the rook is pinned. So here there's no way out, in fact. So g takes f6 is not possible. You mean, yes, I'm going to see g takes f6 here, no? So we started from here where bishop d5 is the right move, the move played by Steinitz. And yes, g takes f6 is possible here, but then bishop takes e4. And bishop f5, if the rook was hanging. And what happens if they take on g7? What's going on? Just open our king for nothing, huh? What a bad position to play. Why would we do this? Rook e3, g takes f6. Okay, we'll look at that as well. Rook e3, g takes f6. And rook e2? We'll see that in a second. But what do we play here? What's our move in this position? Absolutely number one, thank you for the follow. Really? What do we play here? What's our move here? Queen e7. Of course we play queen e7 and we win a piece. Of course, queen e7. And that's the whole point. White cannot even take on g7 and ruin our king. So the actual question was about pawn takes d5, rook e3, and pawn takes f6. Okay, so here, let's take a moment to think about this position. Okay, so if I take on e2, I'm not so happy about how my knight is placed on g6, right? But what if I just move my rook to e5, I was going to say, but maybe that's not the best square. What do we do here? Rook h3? Rook h3, I was worried about bishop g4 and getting my rook sort of trapped there. I still have rook h4, but maybe I have to play rook e5. Seems a little bit more natural, but maybe rook h3 also works. It kind of feels unnatural on h3, but maybe it works. And on bishop g4 I just want to play rook h4. This is it. And what am I doing with the rook on h4? Stopping the h pawn, and that's it. And here h3, and you take on f6, no? And we can declare ourselves happy, maybe. To be honest, I would play rook e5 here. I wouldn't go to h3, but maybe, yeah, maybe rook h3 is better, because e5 is a square for the knight. That's very much true. That's very true. e5 is a square for the knight, so rook h3, bishop here, rook h4. I'm losing the pawn on f6. I probably have to take on g7 if I want to do this. h4 looks scary. Yeah, h4 does look scary. h4, h5. So here what? Queen f6? I'm between queen f6 and queen h4 because I want to trade queens, and that I'm going to do with either queen f4 or queen h6. So I think I have to trade queens here with black, and then I'm going to be fine. And then my rook on h3 is going to be an amazing rook if we are playing this way. Queen h4 I like more. I have two threats. Okay, more than two threats, but these are my main threats. I'm not going there to take pawns. does look like the rook gets stuck on h3, but amazingly it's not getting stuck because they are not trapping our rook. That was my first impression. Rook h3 looks like my rook is not coming out. But it is coming out. It is coming out. Do we have to trade though? No, probably we don't have to trade. I'm just feeling more comfortable without queens on the board in this position as black. I feel like I can use my advantage without queens on the board, because here the way I'm losing is that I'm getting mated. If I'm not getting mated, I have a superior position. I can see knight f4 coming. I can see attacking these pawns here, maybe even d5. Rook e8, maybe rook e5, knight f4, that would be very nice. But that has to happen without queens on the board. Of course, white can avoid that. So there's king b1 here. But does he avoid that? Queen f4 still. This is yeah, it looks like black is very active here, and rook e8 coming next in case white wants to still keep queens on the board. And on rook h3, bishop g4, just rook h4 we said, right? And then we're winning the pawn on h6. And here, well, I was thinking h3, but queen f6. And here there's really no attack. And as you guys were pointing out, knight e5 is coming and the bishop is going out of g4. It's not going to stay there forever. Okay, so this is what happens after rook e3, pawn takes f6. But the game didn't go like this. The game went with queen d5. So let's see what happened here. On queen d5, the point is that he plays rook e5, queen d2, and what now? What are we going to play here with black? Our bishop is hanging. The pawn on g5 is hanging. But can we take? What happens after f4 if we take with the bishop? Rook e4. Very nice. Yes, so bishop takes g5, and on f4, rook takes e4. That's very nice. Rook g5 is also suggested. But yes, here I'm not going to take on g5. Of course, I'm not going to take on g5, but maybe I'm going to play f4, right? And I think this looks scary. I have to play rook. I think I have to play rook g2. And now that rook might get trapped. So I just have to find a square for this queen here. Queen d3? Just queen d3? And play bishop f3 next. Just like that. Probably. But bishop g5 works. And on f4, don't forget about the two bishops on the e file, rook e4. And here, pawn takes g5, queen e7, we are winning the bishop back. Rook f1 was played, and rook e3. And here black has two extra pawns and should be winning. But it's never that easy to win a game in practice, is it? So let's flip the board again and see how Lasker turns this game around, because Lasker won this game. So this is not a loss that I'm showing here. Bishop c4. There are still some problems with the king. Bishop c4, he wants to take on f7. And here Steinitz plays the ugly move knight h8, which is probably at some point necessary, but not yet, no? Here rook f8 looks more natural, and he won't even have to play knight h8. He probably thought that after h4 he would eventually have to play knight h8 because the knight doesn't have many squares, but he does have options. b5, and he wants to play when the bishop moves, rook e2, and this is a way more active defense. So the idea is to play queen e3. On queen d3, queen e3, and on queen d1, queen e3, and the knight can now go to e5. And here he should be okay. But he played knight h8. And now comes h4 and c6. So black wants to play d5, wants to block this bishop from c4, and then probably get the knight out. So what do you think that white played here? We are still in a worse position, but practical chances, right? How do we create practical chances here with white? d5 is going to happen if we don't do anything. Open the king with g6, very nice. That's what he played, g6. A very timely move, because actually you're also playing against this knight on h8. Here black has to take. If he takes on g6, he has to take with the h-pawn. This is not what happened in the game. But here, if pawn takes g6, h5 is a typical attacking pattern. So g6 followed by h5, so you open completely the king side. And the game could go on like this. And even here, black should be fine. But I think it's not easy at all to defend anymore. It's really not easy at all. So here, the only correct defense is rook e8. And we want to try and trade pieces here with rook e1. This is the plan. What happens if we play something else? Because d5 was the plan, but d5 is already one way of going wrong, because now rook h1 is the threat. So on knight g6, already bishop d3, and what are you going to do? There are some nasty threats. For example, if rook e8 now, how does white win the game? White to play and win. It's no longer about defending. Take on g6. But do we take on g6? Do we take on g6 or not? Take on g6 doesn't really work. Rook h8. Rook h8 is the right move order, because if we take on g6, I'm afraid that after rook e1, we are going to lose the game. and black is just in time because everything comes with tempo. So here takes, we have to take everything, and king d2. This is not winning a piece because now pawn takes g6, attacks the rook on h5. So it's just too many pawns already. Too many pawns. But you have to start with rook h8 instead. The move order is super important here. And after rook h8, it's over. Knight h8, rook h8, very nice. Thank you for the follow here. And now queen h2, and now it's game over. The only way to stop, it's not mate, it's not mate. Black can still survive, but he has to give up the queen. Queen h4, king g8, and it's not mate, but it's not pleasant, is it? It's not mate, but you're not going to enjoy this position. It's just queen, and I'm gonna get back some pawns here. Queen g7 maybe, and keep playing, and well, try to win this with white. So if pawn takes g6, probably this is what Lasker would have played. h5 takes, rook h5, and here now you understand why black has to play rook e8 immediately, because in case of rook h1, rook e1, and he gets to trade pieces, which is great. Might be savable. That's what I was thinking, that it might not be so clear, no? In practice, I'm not sure that you can win that. At least not easy at all. But black should also be careful. So not easy for either one. Okay, so here rook e8 with the idea of rook e1. We don't have rook h1 anymore. We probably have to play the other rook to h1. And it's still not clear, but it's clearer, no? A little bit clearer. So let me show you the game, because here g6 in the game, black played d5, and here is where the fun starts. Pawn takes h7, king takes h7, and bishop d3 check. Okay, king g8. What else? And now h5. Very nice and precise. We want to bury that bishop there. Hi, Xenia. Rook e8. And now he goes h6. When am I ending the stream? I want to show one more game, and that's going to be it. Maybe another half an hour. Depends how long we are going to take with that game. So rook e8, he plays h6, g6, and now it begins, no? h7, king g7, and he plays king b1. Why does he play king b1? Because here I was thinking, why not queen h2, right? Queen h2, and I want to play queen h6, but he was probably worried about queen g5, and then the king on c1 is just misplaced, and he'll probably have to leave c1 and play king b1 anyway, right? So he just plays this move in preparation for the things that might be happening on the diagonal, king b1, and then queen h2 at some point. Queen e5, and now he also plays a3. Similar ideas. You don't want to get mated. So he's just preparing this, since this night is a funny night. Isn't this a funny night? This knight on h8. Where is this knight going? c5, and now queen f2. So he wants to get to h4, since h2 is no longer available. But c4, right? That's why he plays c5. Queen h4. We want to mate. Our threat is stronger. f6. Defending against the mate. So what do we play now? It's a lot of fun here. What do we play here with white? And I'm pretty sure I have seen this position before. I just didn't know it wasn't from this game. I think I actually had to solve this position as part of a calculation exercise. Why didn't he play f5 here, no? Like right here, f5, after queen h4, f5. Can we take that on f5? Queen h6 is a move. Yeah, let's see, why didn't he play f5? If I take f5, pawn takes, I have a check on g1. I don't know, how is bishop f5? No, before c5. Okay, before c5. Here f5. Oh, I don't know why he didn't play f5 here. Probably because he was worried about moving the pawns around his king. There's nothing is happening on f5 here, but maybe something. All right, so on queen f2, if I try to do the same, and queen h4. On queen f2, there's going to be queen g3. Is this the plan? So if I play queen f2 now, since there's no queen f6, there might be this move. Is this the idea? Or maybe you don't even have to play this. Yeah, that definitely looks like an idea. So should I just change my plan and play on the g file then? Try to win the pawn on f5? Can I do that? Queen g2, queen g3. Annoying, that's very annoying, queen g3. And on rook g1, I guess you can just move the king away. Yeah, rook g1 I'm looking at, but can he just play king f7? Is this a move here? This is what I was a little worried about. Maybe now play rook queen f2. Maybe now queen f2 and queen h4 and try to put some steady pressure. Or queen b4. Oh, queen b4. Queen b4, nice. So I want to attack on this flank and I want to play queen h4. Yes, that's very nice. That's actually very nice. So what if I play queen e7? Well, I'm a little scared to play queen e7, something on f5, but okay, let me try. Let me try to play queen e7. Maybe queen f4. And something on f5. Yep, it's a tempo. Queen d4. Queen d4 or queen f4. I was thinking queen f4 and something on f5. I don't know. I don't know what happens on f5. Queen d4. Okay, I guess here I'm not upset about the draw. I'm missing 2 pawns. So if queen e5, I'll just play queen b6, and maybe it's not even a draw, right? But what about queen b4, queen e7? What about queen f4? Isn't this nice as well? Because I want to play some queen h6 and maybe take on f5. That's also quite nice here. Queen f4 with the idea of something. Okay, so f5. Well, then f5 works, right? That's how we started. f5 with the idea of queen g3. This looks trickier than the game actually, because white needs to find some precise moves like rook g1. Rook g1 is the first move because I'm threatening to take here on f5. And here I played king f7. I'm not sure whether black has anything else. Well, there's rook g3. Isn't rook g3 better? Doesn't allow so many things. Definitely looks like a better defense. f5. But would you play f5? I don't know. I would be a little worried about moving my pawns on around my king, to be honest. Maybe just f5, cold-blooded. So what do I play here? I don't take on g3, right? If I take on g3, I think black is fine. But okay, rook h1 and I threaten queen h6, and the rook has to come back. Okay, that's a thought. And on queen e3 I have queen b4. Since you showed me this move before, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it for a while. I'm not letting it go. It's a very nice move. No, okay, f4, f5. But I think this plan makes sense as well, right? Play c4. It's really not clear at all. It's not that that black is losing here. So c4 and queen h4, and hold on a second because I want to show you this. This is really nice. f6. And what do we play here? I come back to this position. What do you play here? What do we play here with white? Amazing. Amazing idea from Lasker. Because he must have seen this from a few moves ago. That bishop on d3 is trapped. So he must have seen this from the moment he played queen f2. Queen f2, queen h4, he had it all prepared. He didn't just come up with the move now. This is actually a very nice position if you want to take it and solve it and have some fun calculating. I remember I had some some headaches. I wouldn't say fun. Some fun, let's call it fun. Calculating this position. Trying to checkmate black and find a way to continue the attack. Bishop takes. We want to take on g6, but do you have a follow-up? So obviously I'm going to take with the knight. Queen h6 and then bishop takes. I think the two lines might actually, do they transpose? Is it the same if we take on g6 or not? So queen h6, king f7, we take on g6, knight takes. And what do we play next? On rook g1, I think there's rook g3. So you want to sacrifice on g6, right? But we have to see what we want to do afterwards. And do we give a check on h6 or not? Rook f5. Wow, rook f5. I haven't looked at that, but we will look at rook f5. After that, we resign and we go play for knight. You think? You think? No, we don't resign that easily. We have to fight. We have to fight for the points. Bishop g6, knight g6, rook to g1. Yeah, that's one of the lines. Okay, so this is one of the lines, and we actually need the queen on h4 in this line. Knight g6 and rook f to g1. yes, rook f to g1, because we need power here on this file. And it's important that we have the queen on h4. This is what I was thinking, because what I was seeing here, that if queen h6, king f7, and if you take now, knight g6, and you want to play rook g1, then here I was worried about rook g3. So I need my rook on my queen on h4, right? I don't want rook g3 to be happening. But I can try this here, king f7, and now queen g4 I have here. I don't know if you had other ideas for white here. Was it something else? And then we can look at my queen g4 that I looked at. There's rook g6, but I think that's nothing, right? I just, well, I take, or do I give a check here? Well, we'll have to see. How's rook g6? Rook g6, if king takes. I don't know what happens if king takes. So should I just try rook g6? If you wanted to play this, I don't know, king g6. And I'm thinking that, yeah, you can play h8, I guess queen, and I'll take, and I think that's nothing, no? Here I was looking at rook e1. I'm going to trade a few pieces. I should win with black. I'm saying I should win because we have queens on the board and anything can happen. But black has 2 extra pawns, so we should consider this as a decisive advantage. Now in practice, anything can happen, but that should be decisive advantage. So queen g4 here is the line that I have, and here queen g5, for example, works. But I think queen e4 I'm seeing now. Why didn't I go for queen e4? I don't know. This looks simpler. And on check, there's rook e7. There's rook e7. And I think here there's a way of getting a perpetual, like something like queen c8. I'm threatening, I think now I'm threatening to take on g6. I'm also threatening mate here on g8. So probably rook e8 is something that black has to play. And now, well, I can take on b7. But I'm thinking here must be at least a perpetual with queen c8 and threats on the 7th rank again. So bottom line is that bishop takes g6 works, and with correct defense we might have a perpetual or just an equal position. But there is one other idea. There's one other idea that black needs to be aware of. Bishop f5. How do you like this move? So what's the point, right? Why does he play bishop f5? Well, because if pawn takes f5, we want to give a check. King f7, another check. And here we take on f5. And it looks like white has a lot of pressure. Where does the queen go? Maybe queen e6 and rook d5. So the knight is not going anywhere. The king is not going anywhere. It's just stuck in the center. And rook g7 looks like a big threat. A very uncomfortable position. White keeps the edge. Now here, queen h5, he has to go to e7. Otherwise, he's losing a rook here on e8. And any checks, so let's say here rook f5, rook e1, like this doesn't help either, because I'm not going to take on e1. I'm going to play king a2. So the queen is still under attack. And what are you going to do? There are some nice ideas here. For example, yeah, let's just show this. This is very nice. Let's see this move. Very nice, right? Something's hanging either way. So if king takes, this is mate. And queen g7. And of course, if queen takes, there's a rook hanging on e1. Some very nice tactical ideas, right? So I kind of like this bishop f5. It's less forcing than bishop g6. So you're not, well, if black takes on f5, the attack is stronger. Rook takes g1 fails because there are checks and take the rook. Well, yeah, I thought I'd just take the rook, but yeah, let's see that. I thought I'd just take the queen, basically. So here, rook f5, rook e1. Here, and here takes on g1, yes? I don't know if I take the rook, but I think I'm taking a bunch of pawns here. Take, I'm going to take another one with check. Well, now the question is, where is the king going? d7 or f7? I think f7, no? I don't know exactly, but it feels like here I'm more protected. If I go here, I'll take. Okay, here I might win the rook. If I go to c7, I'm winning the rook. And I have to come back. And at this point, I might be winning the rook again. There you go. I'm winning the rook, yes. So if I go to f7, here I might not be winning the rook. Here? Okay, if I go here, I'm losing the rook. Same if I go here. Same if I go here, so to any dark square, but I think I have this move. Rook e6. Just barely defending there. Queen d7, rook e7, queen f5, king e8. I think still surviving there. And if I take on b7, maybe rook e7 again. Hello. Yeah, I don't know, queen d7 or queen b7 they look tempting here. But I think, I don't know, something I should be winning here, no? For example, oh, queen d4, rook g7. Got it. So here I'm not winning anything, actually. As long as there is a pawn on h7, it should be winning. I don't know if this is winning. I'm not saying that this is winning. I doubt that this is winning. I highly doubt. I think black should be able to hold here. But it's going to be tricky. What if I take this pawn though? At least take as many pawns as I can. Maybe king g6 now? Or rook f7, rook e7, I don't know. It's easy to go wrong here with black. What if rook e7? No, I'll take another pawn, right? At least take another pawn. Maybe king g6. Oh wait, but here I have, what if I attack this knight? Queen b8, queen c8. And here I'm taking the knight. Unless there are threats. So this is nothing easy. This is not easy at all. It looks like black has counterplay as well. And maybe it will be just perpetual. Not an easy endgame at all, no. This pawn on h7 is blocked. And doesn't look like I'm winning anything if black plays correctly. But okay, this was White's idea to play these positions and of course complicate the game, because we saw from where this started. He was in a worse position, 2 pawns down, and he suddenly found all this counterplay. So it's all about finding an attack against the black king. So king f7, and here he plays rook g1. And eventually black has to take on f5, and we're getting into this position that we just saw. King e7, and here rook takes f5 is what we saw. And this would transpose to all the lines that we've been seeing. But he plays rook g8, which is also interesting. Nothing wrong with this move either. King d6, and now he takes on f5. And just so you see that this position is not easy at all, queen e6 was played, and this is a mistake. The move to stay in the game is rook e1 and go on e2. Try to stay active. I don't think it's obvious why, because here it looks like everything is falling apart, but somehow it's not. Somehow you're going to find some shelter there. And probably we have to take, and maybe take on c4. This is one way. There are other ways, no? I mean, here I don't have to play rook c5, I can play queen f5. But it's definitely a crazy game. A very complicated position after all this. So it's easy for black to go wrong, and queen e6 is already bad. Takes and rook f6. King c5. And now he plays queen h6. Rook f8 seems to be a threat now. I think this is a threat, right? Rook f8. At least one of them. Rook e7. Now, rook f8 doesn't work. Why doesn't rook f8 work? What's wrong with this move now? What does black play? What's wrong with this? Rook h7. Rook h7 is what's wrong with this. And we just lost this pawn. This beautiful pawn on h7. We didn't want to do that, did we? Okay, so no rook f8. He plays queen h2. There are other threats. Something terrible here. Maybe something here, depending on how black plays. Queen d7. Okay, so here again, queen d7 loses immediately, but the move that doesn't lose immediately is queen d8. It's just very difficult to find all the defenses and all the differences between the moves in this position. So when you're just, when your opponent is just constantly putting pressure, it's so difficult to understand why queen d8 and not queen d7. Now we understand, because you'll see that the square b6 is important in the game. And on queen d7, the thing is that after queen g1, now black doesn't have the move king b5, so there's queen b6 now, and this would be made. But with the queen on d8, the square b6 is protected, so this is why here he should have played queen d8. But imagine having to defend against so many threats every time in a game. So now we don't have queen b6, but this is still very good for white. So it's just, you're not losing on the spot, but you're still going to probably suffer and eventually lose here. a4 is a threat here after queen d4, by the way. a4 and b3 if king takes. So the game ended like this: queen d7, queen g1, and on d4, check here. So where are you going, right? Nowhere. Queen d5 and rook f5. King here and queen f6. Game over. Resign. The knight on h8 is falling. With king d7, he just takes here. Well, I don't know which one he takes. Maybe he wants to grab another pawn first. But basically, he's losing all the pieces. So black resigned here. Yeah, very nice game. No? And queen f6. And also very nice because I liked the counter-attack that Lasker found. And, well, he's famous for putting up a lot of good defense, basically. He was not just giving up in worse positions, he was fighting until the end. And I think this is a game that shows that. And there's another famous game of Lasker that I left for last because maybe you know it, and I've actually didn't add so many annotations because this game is analyzed by many strong people. This game that I found is analyzed by Kasparov, so I thought it's nice to leave his annotations here, and we'll just show you a couple of ideas if anything. So this game was played in a tournament where Lasker was trailing behind Capablanca. He was 1 point behind Capablanca, so he needed a win to become a leader of the tournament. And everybody was surprised when he chose to play bishop takes c6 here in the Ruy Lopez, especially since he was playing against Capablanca, who was famous for his excellent technique. He was a very good positional player. So, right, you're playing this against Capablanca, you're going into an endgame. How are you going to win the game? Why are you doing this? How do you want to win? This is a decisive game. But no, Lasker was not worried about any of those. Castle, castle, and f4. And here Capablanca goes rook e8. And as we will see, again, this is not such a trivial position. So black has the bishop pair, but it's not easy to get that bishop out of c8. And somehow the bishop on d6 is not as safe either, right? Because e5 is there, and it's, I think, something that black was worried about during the game. So here knight b3, and this e5 seems to be an idea here. Hello, Pawn Mars Destroyer. How are you? I'm doing great, thank you. Showing some games of Lasker. Continuing with my trying to continue with my series of world champions. So knight b3 played, and in this position Capablanca goes f6, and from this moment on is when Lasker starts putting pressure and gets the advantage. We will see how it's a very instructive game. If you have not seen it before, it's an amazing game. But here, just to see how black should have played here, I think b6, after looking at this position, I think b6 is the way to go. So basically e5 is what I'm worried about, right? Because what am I going to do about my bishop? But I have bishop b4, and here if I go a3, then they take on c3. So okay, that's not great. So I tried bishop d2 here. Maybe there are other moves, we can look at those. Bishop d2, but maybe now I go bishop f5, no? I'm hitting on c2. And probably at some point, like at this point, if a3, I'll have to take on c3. But after c5, this position looks quite comfortable for black. I don't really like that knight on b3. That bishop on f5 is better than the bishop on c3. And knight d5 seems to be happening soon. So black should have nothing to worry about here. But he played f6 in the game. So let's see, what do we do here with white? Free chess lesson, yeah. What do we play here with white? Let's play like Lasker. Bishop e3 or king h1? Bishop e3 or king h1? Anything else? Any other ideas? I'm thinking on bishop e3 I'll probably switch to my previous plan of playing b6, but now I also have okay, so bishop e3, the idea is that if I go bishop e6, you want to play knight c5, I think, right? bishop e3, bishop e6, knight c5 should be the idea. But I'm wondering what happens if I play b6 first. Yeah, I'm not sure that we should play e5 here. First of all, because I feel like if we play e5, we're opening the center for black's pieces. I don't know if calculation is right, if anything, if we really have anything. But after rook e1, what happens if I just play bishop f6, no? Or just go back to d6? To d6. Sorry, not f6, d6. No, I think bishop e3 can be played, and I'll probably go b6 anyway. But there is a very strong move here that Lasker plays, and it's sort of surprising, because somehow you don't want to give up squares, but it also makes a lot of sense. Thanks for the follow. So he plays f5. How do you like this move? Do you like this move? Do you even like this move? Giving up the square e5, leaving a backward pawn on e4. What kind of move is f5? But we do like this move, right? So I was thinking, because, well, you have to imagine that this was in the time of Steinitz, when you didn't want to create weaknesses, you didn't want to create yourself backward pawns. But now I was thinking that f5 does make a lot of sense, because e6 is weak, so you're creating a strong hold on e6, but also your opponent has the bishop pair, so it makes sense for me to put my pawns on light squares. I want to kill the bishop on c8. Yes, I want to kill that bishop on c8, and I want to play bishop f4 next, and I want to play against this bad bishop on c8. I think this makes a lot of sense, this f5 move. It's very nice. Yeah, I know, you'd always be hesitant to play it, because you don't like giving away squares. I agree. I don't like giving squares, I don't like giving away squares either. So it has ups and downs, but I think it has more pros than cons, this move. Because I also think that it might not be so easy to get to e5. Exactly, it's not like black can get a knight to e5 so easily. Like, you'd have to give squares to get to e5. You'd have to play c5, and then, yum, I get a square here on d5, right? Very nice square for my own knight, if the knight goes away. So, for example, here, if bishop d7, which did not happen in the game, bishop f4 is the plan. And this was apparently recommended in the postmodern Mortem analysis. But still, so here rook d8, but still here white should be better, probably with the same idea as in the game, bishop d6, c takes, and rook d1. Attacking the pawn on d6. And this is, well, now I've kind of ruined it for you. Bishop d6 here is another awkward move, you could say, because I don't really want to improve my opponent's structure. That's double pawns, but on the other hand, is it really improved? I think a pawn on d6 is weaker than a pawn on c7. So yes, I'm undoubling my opponent's pawns, but I am creating a weakness on d6, which is what's very nice about this idea. And this was the whole idea of f5. b6 was played in the game, and bishop f4. So here Capablanca shows that it was better to play bishop takes f4. He showed this after the game. This did not happen. Rook f4 and c5. I think it makes a lot of sense to place your pawns this way, and the bishop on b7, and try to somehow hit on e4. Oh, this is what we were worried about. So maybe something like rook d1, bishop b7. Nothing is happening on d7 because you can defend, and then the rook will eventually have to come out of here. I believe with this very idea that was suggested a moment ago, knight c6 and knight e5, eventually. So here we have, this is Capablanca's recommendation. Rook f2, rook d8, and rook d2. Takes, and knight c6. And the point was that on rook d7, he would defend the pawn on c7 and will play knight e5 next and kick the rook out of d7. Black should be fine again. But what happened in the game and what makes this game so famous is that here Black played bishop b7, and here comes the next move that was unexpected here. Bishop takes d6, bringing the opponent's pawn back to the d file. But now what do we play? Knight e4, yeah? We're not going to waste any time, because if we waste time, c5 is coming. So you have to play knight d4 now. Also, there's a slight difference between playing rook d1 first. Yeah, you're winning a tempo, right? But after rook d8, knight d4, I can now play bishop c8. So I can defend the square e6, and my rook is not awkward on a8. So it's very important that we play knight d4 in this position. Like right now. Because here, yes, you can play bishop c8, but what are you going to do about the rook on a8? We'll take this. We're not going to go to e6 yet. But we're fine. Let's keep that rook on a8 for a while. Different move order and important, yeah. So he plays rook d8 in the game. Apparently bishop c8 was the move that he should have played. But I don't know. I don't know who would play bishop c8 in this move and just stay with the rook on a8, no? Here knight e6, rook d7, and rook d1. And this is very cramped and yeah, very difficult to play. Knight c8 and rook f2. This is all very nice. I want to play rook d2, improve my pieces. This part is very instructive because he doesn't really hurry anything. Black is just very passive. You see, he doesn't have any moves, and he will improve the pieces. I also like the next move that he plays. I think there are many good moves and there are many ways to prepare here, but this move is quite nice. Fixing the queen side. Right, you're not going to play c5. You probably weren't going to play c5, but now you're for sure you're not going to play c5. And well, if you play a5, the a file can only be used by white. Actually here, it's probably important, this is something that I noticed now, that c5 is not actually possible, right? Rook f2, rook d2, and here c5 doesn't work for tactical reasons. Knight takes c5, and probably after rook e7, he might have been worried about c5. I thought that black c5 might not be a move that black wants to play because of d5, the d5 square. But anyway, b4 is not going to happen anyway. Is knight e2 bad? When? Instead of b4? And where are we going with the knight? It looks like the knight on c3 is doing fine. So knight e2 here. But can I play... Wait. I think you're giving up some control here. It might be bad because of d5. Well, I don't know if bad, but giving me some movement. Hi, Cat Stevens. Thank you. Isn't d5 nice here? I think give black some freedom finally. Good morning, Slada. Doing fine. Hope you're fine as well. So here, a knight e2 and a knight f4. I'm not sure that the knight is actually doing more on f4 than is doing on c3. Oh, you're just worried that rook e6 might be a problem, right? Yeah. Okay, but if this rook e6, if rook e6 happens, then we're just gonna have to take the exchange, right? Bulgarian split squads, don't mention them to me. I did them today and I don't know why I did this to myself. I took, yeah, I shouldn't have taken those dumbbells. I should have taken the smaller ones. I cried a little bit today. Okay, so if 92, then d5. Rook takes e6 is, I think rook takes e6 is a plan for black, and we're going to see that in a moment, because rook e6 is the only freeing move for black. But you shouldn't, you know, if black plays it well, they play it. And we're going to have to win with an exchange up. a4 92. Yeah, but 92, don't forget about d5. I honestly, I really like b4 here. a4 makes sense as well, because you want to open some files. But what happens if b4, no? This move I don't like because of b4. So now I have to go away, and now I don't know if I still play d5. I'm more tempted to play c5 now. That makes more sense with the pawn on b4. Yeah, I think c5 makes more sense now. And maybe get the knight out on b6. No, that's true. Rook takes e6 is the best practical chance for black. But, okay, you cannot always stop everything. So here b4 and rook f7, a3 he plays, and here rook e6 is when rook e6 is when black should have played this. This is when this is, well, I cannot say it works, but it's when it gives some chances. It gives fighting chances. No, now we know this. But you also probably know that defensive chess has improved a lot over the years, and people were not defending so well some time ago. Now we know so many ideas and have seen so many patterns that we know that this is the best practical chance. Maybe try something like knight b6 and knight c4, no? So maybe I put my king here and try to bring my knight to c4. That would be the best practical chance. Bring the knight there. But he didn't play this, and in the game he played bishop a8. And this is just a bad move because the whole plan of bishop a8 is wrong. His plan is to play a5, but you'll see in the game that a5 doesn't really create counterplay. Doesn't help in any way black. It will only open another file for white. So here g4, and he's trying to create another front of attack, maybe g5 at some point. h6, and he plays this slowly. Rook d3. It's an amazing game, I think, because white has a lot of space, and this is typical. When you have a lot of space, you have also quite some time to improve pieces. You don't have to strike immediately because your opponent cannot move. And I think this is key when you have a lot of space. You don't have to win the game right away. Yeah, white will play g4 anyways on g6. He did play g6 later, so yeah, you'll see that move, but white just doesn't move from there. Don't have to do anything. Rook d3 is not necessarily a waiting move. I mean, I might need my rook on the third rank. Maybe I want to play rook h3, rook g3. You know, if I play g5, I might need the rook. I might need the rook there. So he plays a5 and now goes h4. He simply doesn't care about the a file because what are you going to do on the a file? There's a square here on a3, but nothing is happening. It's really nothing to fight for on the a file for black. So he plays rook e7. And now the king. Now the last piece. Really, really nice. And king f4. improved to the maximum, and now g5 becomes a threat. He goes g6. I'm not sure whether g5 worked or not here. It looked very tempting to me to play g5 here. It should work. It should work. I don't know why it wasn't played. Pawn takes, maybe. Yeah, if he takes, I'm going to take with the knight. It should fall apart. But he played rook g3. And there's nothing wrong with this move either. Just slowly improving. Slowly improving here. He plays g5. Now if g takes f5, this doesn't really help at all. Pawn takes, and now the rook on g3 is very helpful because he's planning to play g5, and the rook on g3 is just helping out. So if something like d5, then g5. Maybe takes here, and knight takes. Yeah, where does our knight from c3 belong? On e4. Yep. Belongs on e4. So I think that's one of the reasons why he plays d5 here, no? Because knight e4 is coming. d5 here. Well, he plays. This is just an analysis from the players. And knight g5. And push the pawn. And bring the king, right? Invasion. And win the game. So here, g5 was played instead. And king f3. Knight b6. Knight b6, he wants to go to c4. And maybe now knight e2 and knight d4. You'll see what happens to that knight. I don't want to spoil it for you. Knight b6. So here he's looking for counterplay. Because here, in fact, if we take on d6, we can take on d6. But here, black wants knight c4. And knight e5. And he's trying to consolidate a little bit this position. It will be an extra pawn for white. But on the other hand, with the knight on e5, this pawn on e4 cannot move. No? I have a knight on e5 very strong. So there's no need to take this pawn. He takes on g5 instead. And goes for the h file. Now, if knight c4, I think there are many moves here. Rook a1 is one of them. The a file. In the end, it turns against black. So he plays rook d7. I don't know if I couldn't say defending the pawn because he's not. I don't know. Is he defending the pawn? I'm not sure he wants to defend the pawn, but maybe there's nothing better. So here he goes king g3. You see, there's a lot of preparation here. Rook h3, rook d3. It was a very nice game, and you'll see why he plays rook g3, king g3. Hi Dan. Nice to see you. King e8, rook h1, bring the other piece, bishop b7, and now what do we play? How did Bucharest go? It went so and so. I got bronze in problem solving. I was very slow in blitz, and I was 5th in rapid, to put it mildly. But it was fun. It was a very well organized tournament, so I'm glad that I played. Also, I hadn't played in a while. It felt good. I was very excited to play. It was a lot of fun to get back to the board. Yeah, I agree. I think I had some nice games as well. Yeah, I played a tournament in Bucharest. It was the National Rapid Blitz and Problem Solving Championship. So what do we do here with white? Eh? What's our move? I know we have a lot of moves, but what do we do about the knight on c3? That was the question, right? Problem solving went well, yes, because probably that's the what I did most during this break. I solved problems. I did a lot of calculation, so I needed a lot of time to calculate everything, and that's also why blitz didn't work out, because suddenly I was like, oh, this position is so nice, and oh shoot, I lost on time. I have so many interesting moves here, and then I don't have time anymore. Eating carbs improves your chess tactics. I should eat more carbs then. Am I playing in the European Individual Championship? In the Women Individual Championship I would like to play, so it will be in Prague. So I'd really like to play that. I've never been to Prague. Rook h8 is a suggestion here. Rook h8 works, and I think Rook h8 will win. But invite everybody. Bring everybody to the party. Why only the rooks and the knight on e6? Why isn't everybody joining the party here? Yes! We play e5 and the knight goes to e4. Isn't this nice? Isn't this move very nice? So you can play f6, you can play d6, you're never going to stop e5. Such a beautiful move. Whatever you take on e5 with, I'm going to play knight e4. F takes e5, knight e4, d takes e5, played in the game, knight e4. And when this knight gets in, it is game over. Knight f6 is the big threat now. The knight can also go to c5. So here he plays knight d5 and then he goes to c5. This way. Bishop c8. Well, bishop c8 because there's really no way of defending here. There's really no way of defending. If rook g7, I'll just take on b7, rook b7 and knight b6, knight d6, and it's over. Oh yes, it's really late. I hadn't noticed. It's 12:48. Yeah, hi Laura. I didn't realize it was so late. This is actually the last game that I wanted to show. Yeah, he finally sacks the exchange. That's nice. He needed to sacrifice the exchange after all. Yeah, but here bishop c8. No, it's a little too late. He needed to sacrifice the rook on e6, but I think that's just a common pattern nowadays. And we know it, we have seen it so many times. And it's easy to say that, oh, here you have to take that knight on e6. That's just a horrible knight. You cannot live with that there. Bishop c8 and now knight takes d7. Bishop takes and rook h7. So it's just, and rook a1, yes. And rook a1 is coming as well. There you go. On both sides. How are you going to defend? Arrows coming from every side. King d8, check, bishop c8, and knight c5, and black resigned. After Petrosian, everyone would do rook e6, yes. The famous game. I should show that game when I get to Petrosian. The famous exchange sacrifice against... I have a... Come on, what's his name? I even know the picture of him giving a symbol. What's the name of the player, of the grandmaster, where he plays rook e6? Word block. Petrosian's rook e6. When he sacrifices the exchange to create a blockade. And he sacrifices the exchange for that. Reshevsky, yes, thank you. Reshevsky, yes. He plays against Reshevsky, yeah. He plays rook e6 to get rid of the light square bishop, yeah? That's the game of rook e6. I should include that game. It's a famous game. square block. Yes, got it, Reshevsky. And this is everything that I had to show you about Lasker. Yeah, that's a very nice game, no? Petrosian and his exchange sacrifices. Yeah, he creates a blockade on light squares, I remember. So there's no d5 coming, I think. I remember there was a light square bishop, very powerful. Thank you, Watchful Prism. Okay, that is all. That's all. I don't have anything more about Lasker. We did see a lot of games of Lasker, and we're going to end this here. I was going to raid Sabina, but she's gone. So yeah, I think that's that's going to be it for now. Who else is here? Yeah. Well, I guess I will see you next week, and maybe play some blitz again, or maybe solve some tactics, and try to prepare some more games of the World Champions. So I'll thank you very much. Good night for now. It's indeed very late here. I hadn't realized that. It was a lot of fun seeing these games and analyzing with you. And I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.